to the Love Show, where we grapple with the question, what is love? Today we want to know, is love hard work? My grandparents were married for over 60 years. But by the time I got married, my grandmother had passed away. But I asked my grandfather to do the toast and the speech at my wedding, the first time I married my husband. I think just that previous statement sort of proves that marriage is hard work. My grandfather's speech was all about how love is great, sure, but it requires hard work and attention to be healthy and lasting. He implied that you could have a marriage without hard work, but it wouldn't be healthy or happy or lasting. He said for love to work long term, both parties have to put in hard work equally. We proved here at the Love Show that love is equality. We also proved here at the Love Show now in numerous episodes that love is not sex. This gets weird and confusing when we start to discuss marriage, but it doesn't have to be. Is love marriage? Another Love Show. Let's assume that love is marriage for the sake of argument. And in that case, neither love nor marriage are sex. So that is how we will deal with that issue today. But we are not asking, is love marriage? We are asking, is love hard work? My grandfather informed me in private before the wedding that both require hard work. He was a gardener and always had garden analogies. He said, well, you wouldn't leave a potted plant with no water and no sun and expect it to survive, would you? He said, well, if you want your relationship to survive, you have to pay it mind like the potted plant. Just a little attention can go a long way. But a lot of attention will give you 50 years or better with the person you love. If you don't put in the hard work, you're just throwing it all away. And I asked him, the plant or the relationship? He answered, both. Linda and Charlie Bloom, authors of Stronger at the Broken Places, wrote an article in 2015 for Psychology Today entitled, Great Relationships Require Hard Work, but Not Forever. Why a new couple is a lot like a spacecraft. They use spacecraft analogies to describe how a spacecraft uses most of its fuel at the beginning of its journey just to break through the Earth's atmosphere. They say that the principle also applies to relationships. They say the early stages after you pass the delirium of infatuation are where the real work begins. That work is about committed listening, letting go of control, practicing vulnerability, this is all still quoting, overcoming resistance to change, being honest, even in the face of fear, and focusing on your own work rather than trying to change your partner. They go on to say that, like mastering any new skill, it takes a lot to hang in there and muddle through the demanding times. The required effort is often great and the challenge can be daunting, leading many to conclude that it's not worth it or that they don't have the stamina and persistence to work forever at this level. Relationships, we think, shouldn't have to be this hard. Well, that's true. They shouldn't be relentlessly difficult, at least not on a permanent basis. This is still a quote. Otherwise, who, other than a masochist, would consciously choose to live in such a state of perpetual struggle? They say the bad news is that some degree of effort and agony is inevitable in most relationships. The good news is that it doesn't have to last forever. It is generally a temporary, not permanent condition. Long quote. I want to talk about one specific point of this excerpt when they say focusing on your own work rather than trying to change your partner. So doing your own work, loving yourself, and being a healthy individual who can then go on to love others in a healthy way. We proved here at the Love Show that one must first love oneself before one can love another. So the work is something we should all do for ourselves anyway, in order to love it all. And the Blooms say that the hard work is only temporary. I find it comes with changes. Anytime we have a change in our family, we all have to work hard to accommodate for that change. Then we all get used to the changes, and they're not such, hard work to accommodate after a bit. Like a new baby, for instance. I gave birth to 3 children in our marriage, and each baby came with new changes and challenges to meet each baby's needs. Each one being vastly different from the other. My son, our first, and a boy was first. He was a boy and natural childbirth, and then my daughter was born a preemie. She was an emergency C-section. Then my third child was also a C-section, and she had colic for the first 3 months. She just yelled. So each one needed us in a different way. We worked hard to accommodate each child as best as we could. And then we also threw in my stepdaughter to the mix when my son was 3 and she was 13. So again, different kids need different things, but they all require hard work, just like marriage and love. We also proved here at the Love Show that we all need love to grow and survive, and that love is always growing. It seems to me that love is working equally hard in our favor. No? I found an article from 2018 by Stephan James in Medium magazine entitled, "Is a Relationship Supposed to Be Hard Work?" He says love is a choice. It requires that both people meet halfway and put in the effort to grow and develop as individuals and as a couple. Well said, Stefan. But is love a choice? Yet another love show. Sometimes it doesn't feel like we have a choice. Love does just kind of come in and take over. But Stefan is right. It is a choice. I know I don't want anyone to feel forced to love me. Certainly not my husband. I want him to just love me for me. I don't want him to love me only if I change this or that, because that would be conditional. I don't think real love is conditional. But Stefan does touch on some good points that remind me of the tarot card, the sun. The sun is good, but too much sun scorches. Stefan outlines 3 ways to know if you're working too hard in a relationship. 1 is you are the only one doing the work. That's a red flag. Equality, 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 people. Love is equality. 2 is your needs aren't being met. And 3 is you have to justify your relationship with friends and family. He ends the article saying, great relationships take work, but they shouldn't leave you feeling drained and depleted. I understand where Stefan is coming from, but I also understand that he probably doesn't have kids. Kids take a lot of work and always leave you feeling drained and depleted. And that's just how it is. Why? Because love, kids, no matter who you are loving, love is hard work. That's what we found today. More reasons for more love shows, and that love is hard work. I love you. Thanks for watching.